Devon is a hand-based arm wrestler. He would trade his arm in order to gain 1 millimeter of pronation. This philosophy is very sound, as the hand is the last link in the chain. If it fails, everything else would fail. In a match, back pressure always comes with the hand limiting factor, either rise or pronation. And even if your back pressure is 200 kilos, you will not really in a match apply that will only be what your rise and roll allows. On the other hand, Devon will do a posting style to prole as well, but focuses on rising and holding center table whilst getting into the best position possible before finishing with a top roll, or sometimes finishing inside after getting the best position possible. He also will gas out opponents with the king's move if needed. While that's true, right now I've been taking a non-explosive style and gravitating more towards, to my knowledge, a traditional posting style top roll. In more stalemate matches, I've had a lot of success bringing the elbow slightly forward to grip higher and then drag back and repeat, somewhat reminiscent of Devon. Devon does an open top roll, king's move, but this is due to years of wear and tear and loss of integrity in his elbow. I wouldn't look to just Devon for training advice, as his style doesn't need as much of certain fundamentals compared to a healthier arm wrestler with more options. For example, he says he can give up his cup when doing the king's move, hence his emphasis on rise and pronation. Back pressure is not limited by pronation, but your overall arm wrestling capability is limited by your hand and wrist. In contrast to their first encounter, in this time the strap must be gained by Devon so he can use his table IQ efficiently. The lower strap below his wrist allows him to drag his forearm back, which utilizes the lats, which is the most powerful muscle in the upper body. Upper strap is the hand control strap. If you are putting emphasis on rising in the strap, then you are not putting emphasis on the bottom strap. The horsepower strap is more important. You can only rise in your wrist to a certain level in the straps as well. With the strap for sure. Make sure the strap is tightly connected at the wrists so there is no slack between their wrist and yours. Make sure their hand is deep within your hand. You must incorporate some sort of lat drag into your hook, along with cupping, of course. Hooking in a strap can be fantastic. The same way everyone else does. Focus on bottom horsepower strap drive first. Then once you have adequate power in that strap, you can attempt any move you'd like. The low hand top roll is naturally meant to be for strap pulling. An example is Matt Mask. He becomes much more powerful in the strap. Another example is the king's move, which is essentially a giant lat drag. The point of a low grip that Devon sometimes does is to get a deeper grip that reaches further around his opponent. You can do so because you don't need to wrap around his hand thumb. He should be able to apply more back pressure, but you will possibly have more of a cup. From what I've seen, his hand isn't particularly strong, so he has to grip really low to block his opponent's pronation. The downside of the dad move is that you essentially shorten your opponent's lever, making it easier for them to drag and side press. But since Levan has enormous arm strength and ligaments of steel, it's not a big problem for him, and he can use those feats to overcome the leverage disadvantage. Grip is going to play a significant role in terms of grip style and strength, and also containment in strap. Training with a 3-inch rolling thunder is going to have much more containment carry over than grippers. And containment is not a core part of arm wrestling anyway. It has its place, but it's down the list in terms of general importance. And another reason I say that it's not underrated is that I see people using and talking about grippers pretty frequently. Not a lot of people at lower levels use post very much anyways, which is the main reason that you'd need containment. Traditionally with grippers, when you grip really hard you tend to cock your wrist back past flat, which is a bad habit to be in for arm wrestling. Working your fingers and your cupping at the same time makes them work together, which they should always be doing while arm wrestling. This is why you use fat grips and large roller handles, so that you can work your cupping, but due to the diameter of the handle it attacks your fingers. Same with cone grippers, they attack your fingers also. Your gripping and finger strength for arm wrestling is most important at your MCP joint for containment, and PCP and dip joints aren't as important, and that is what grippers target most. Grip training generally tends to incorporate not just grip work, but complete forearm work. There is often a carryover into elbow flexion as well. Due to the complicated nature of the forearm, training methods vary, and it depends which one you're thinking about. Keep in mind that fat grips and any other grip stuff will mostly work your finger and hand strength, not much wrist strength. You can do a few sets here and there, but doing too much can actually be detrimental since you will be too fatigued to do other exercises. Always apply the strap low. There is no benefit in having the strap high. In the old strap, the guy who doesn't have the buckle has more advantage because he gets the tension first. If you have the buckle, when the referee is putting the strap on, make sure to drive the webbing between your thumb up at least as high as the opponent's. This ensures that the strap is properly tightened on your hand. Also, a neat little trick is to bend your wrist back a bit, so that the opponent's wrist carves in his favor. This is going to make him feel like he has his cup set and has the advantage. Then the referee will straighten both of your wrists. Now grip tight and straighten your wrist. This puts the opponent at a significant disadvantage because he is pushed back out of his position. Cup is a foundation in pretty much everything unless you flop press or in some situations where you trade cup for more pronation, the king's move. But both these moves are best left to more experienced pullers who can deal with the more risky positions and the strain on your structures. If you want to beat someone with a strong cup, you need to be attacking his fingers, and your setup, you need to avoid letting them get all the way around your hand. If you can avoid straps, that will make it harder for them as they have to hold on. Side pressure is a difficult one because it's always dangerous, so you need to have a quick hit and attack the fingers immediately to negate some of their access to power. One thing to note: if you are getting a dominant position out of straps and you have cracked their wrist, bring your shoulder forward and move into a press position. Then you will be completely on their bicep, otherwise you will just keep slipping because you are going to keep pulling out of their fingers. The reason Devon started the thumb trend is because in the straps it's the way you can force your opponent's webbing below your own. That way, when you top roll, your hand is above theirs.
Intensity. Will Larratt look to counter? Will he try to flame it up? Drive